policy involved. Then came murmurs of a class action lawsuit against Bethesda because of the game's broken state, as well as the flat-out refusal to refund players, and not much has happened since. When advertising the collector's edition of Fallout 76, Bethesda made sure to include a photo of a canvas bag. This item was also labelled canvas bag, so people were pretty convinced it was a canvas bag. However, when the game was released, what they received was not a canvas bag. Fans excitedly opened their collector's editions, expected to be greeted by a bag made of delicate canvas, but instead found one made of cheap nylon, something more akin to a Tesco's carrier bag than the luxurious canvas duffel that was promised. Naturally, people complained, and Bethesda's helpful customer service department responded by politely telling everyone to fuck off. That didn't work so well, so they then blamed it on a shortage of canvas. The luscious commodity was apparently too rare and expensive for Bethesda to get a hold of, even though at E3 they had handed out canvas bags to influencers. Their argument was convincing, but people weren't biting. Todd had to give in. They started off by giving everyone 500 atoms. This was the in-game equivalent of 1 1/3 emotes. Surprisingly, this $5 payout to people who had fished out $300 to buy a Power Armor edition and expected their duffel bag to be made of prestige canvas was not a satisfying response to most, so Todd gave in again. Bethesda now promised to send everyone who could prove that they purchased a collector's edition an actual, real canvas bag. All you had to do was send your receipt and type out your address and full name on the Bethesda support page, and your bag would arrive in 4 to 6 months. Speedy. What Bethesda didn't realise was that their support page wasn't actually secure, and all of your personal information was now out there for the world to see. Some random accounts on Bethesda.net were even getting sent these support tickets, including all the personal information of the senders. Not knowing what to do, Bethesda just said "F this" and shut down the site. Someone at Bethesda thought it would be a good idea to create a real-life version of Fallout's Nuka-Cola Dark Rum. It didn't turn out to be a good idea. The product sold at a mere $80 and was supposed to be delivered on November the 14th alongside the game. It didn't. Customers were confused. Bethesda announced that there would be a slight delay and that customers should keep an eye out for updates. Those who didn't cancel their orders there and then received the rum more than a month later, on the 20th of December. The rum ended up tasting awful and the bottle was completely fucked. Now this one isn't solely Bethesda's fault, but it is one of the many incredible cock-ups related to the game. After all of the above had blown over, the game would sink into the depths of obscurity. But the collector's edition wasn't finished. It would spring up one more time in the media. This time it was the helmets. They were accumulating dangerous levels of mold. The mold only amassed inside the collectible Nuka-Cola helmets, of which 20,000 were made. 32 sold through GameStop. They were said to be gathering extremely high levels of mold. So much so that the United States Consumer Product Safety Commission considered them to be a severe health risk for anyone with one in the household. They were recalled and refunded. And all of that amounted to what was probably the most catastrophic launch of a video game ever. As you can imagine, Todd Howard has since gone into hiding and possibly the witness protection program. Bethesda's reputation was slipping before the events of 76 anyway, mainly due to the decline of their game's quality, the infinite porting of Skyrim, the attempt to sell mods to players, some of them already free on the Nexus, twice, and so on. But Fallout 76 was a major tipping point. Gamers were angry. They were rising up. So furious, these angry gamers even made numerous angry YouTube videos and forum posts, most of which attained a lot of upvotes from other angry gamers. Things were getting serious. Bethesda thought it best not to respond to the complete calamity that was the launch of this game, and returned to the shadows. Before launch, you could often find Pete Hines, Vice President of Bethesda Softworks and Head of Marketing and PR, on Twitter, answering curious fans' questions about the game. Afterwards, nothing. Complete radio silence.
Pete, are you there? Are you there, Pete? Pete, I want a refund.
Eventually, Bethesda's Reddit community managers started to become a bit more transparent on the Fallout 76 subreddit, and after the rough few first patches, the game slowly started to become a bit better. One of the main things that players wanted fixing was the severe weight limit of their stash, which is essentially their in-game bank to hold the stuff they can't carry. For a game that revolves around looting and hoarding, the small weight limit wasn't a very intelligent design decision. Bethesda ended up raising it by 200 points in one of the early patches, but then they said they couldn't raise it anymore because it brought up server performance problems. After a month or two of smoothing the Fallout 76 experience, they released a roadmap for the upcoming expansions, and they actually looked like they were making an effort to improve the game. But not that Battle Royale one, no one asked for that.
Yeah, we put a Battle Royale in Fallout 76.
It did actually look like they genuinely planned on sticking with Fallout 76 and updating it over the years, that someday it could have a shot at redemption, similar to No Man's Sky. In June, they released a trailer for an expansion set to come out at the end of the year called Wastelanders. The trailer showed real human NPCs, complete with actual dialogue choices. They listened. Were we actually in for something that somewhat resembled a Fallout game? For the optimistic, it may have suggested that Bethesda had in fact begun to change. Their trail of greed, incompetence, and outright refusal to listen to what their fanbase wanted was just a brief nightmare. A small bump in the road, finished. Unfortunately, Todd had other plans.
Todd, it finally looks like we're on the verge of getting a trace of respect back from our fans with this Wastelanders update. Should we add more staff to its development team?
Delay it until 2020. In the meantime, add a monthly subscription service. Call it Fallout First. That sounds nice. Rolls off the tongue well. Make it $13 a month and make the primary feature the ability to create private worlds. Something our players have been dying for and we promised we'd be adding to the game in the future update anyway, for free.
But Todd, we promised that the game's microtransactions would be cosmetic only.
$13 a month.
For what we can only assume was due to the awful sales figures and the lower than expected purchasing of atoms, Bethesda decided to take the nuclear option, something so unimaginable that dedicated players just flat out uninstalled the game. They decided to do this on the same date that the bombs dropped in the Fallout universe, just to make it that much more genuine. Fallout 76 was trending on Twitter again, numerous angry Reddit posts were cropping up. Oh boy, a monthly subscription for a game I already had to pay for. What's included for these Fallout First members? Well, they were in for private worlds, and unlimited weight stash, something they said wasn't possible due to server performance. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Some free atoms, and a few emotes. Ooh, I like that one. All for the measly price of $13 a month, or an even cheaper $100 a year. Bethesda had already broken their cosmetic-only promise a while back when they added special repair kits to their atomic shop, but this was taking it a whole step further. And in classic Bethesda fashion, for the two people that actually bought the Fallout First subscription, none of the features worked as intended.
It just works.
First of all, they forgot to buy the Fallout First domain name, and someone on 4chan managed to get there first. Fallout F*** you first. A lovely advertisement for Bethesda's newest product. Private servers turned out to use recycled multiplayer worlds that had evidence of recent activity from other players, such as dead enemies, looted areas, and so on. The infinite stash was gobbling up people's trash, which they could no longer find. So there was that. And yeah, once again, things were not smooth. This premium service is also very interestingly priced. The monthly subscription is as much as Netflix and Amazon Prime, and more expensive than Spotify, the Xbox Games Pass, and Hulu Premium. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pass on that one. With the never-ending array of these spectacular cock-ups, I think being wary of the state of Starfield and the next Elder Scrolls is a justifiable state of mind, and I'm sure a good number of you who purchased Fallout 76, either at launch or on sale, might regret ever buying the game, but I just want you guys to know that it wasn't your fault. You never had a choice. They showed you the adverts, they tried selling it to you, but of course, being a person of integrity, dignity and critical thinking, you said you weren't going to buy it. The lies weren't going to work this time. But then, you locked eyes with him. He then whispered something in your ear about being 4 times the size. How could you resist? Todd had won again, and he'll keep on winning, because Todd knows how to sell a game, whether or not it's the same game that comes out at launch. I know from where you're sitting it probably looks like an 18 canvas run of bad luck, but the truth is, Todd had won from the start.